Hi guys, welcome back for episode number 15 of the weekly playback. There was no episode last week because I was out of town in Florida, but I will get to all of that at the very end. So let's get into games that I played. So this covers games from the weekend before I left for vacation because I did go to like a gaming day as well. So I will talk about Obsession. So I've talked about this game quite a bit. I even did like an interview, or I think was it an interview where I wrote an article for like Tabletop Gaming magazine on it because it's like my all-time favorite game. So this is Obsession by Dan Halligan, published by Kayenta Games. If you have the Wessex expansion, then it is for up to five players, but without that expansion, it's for 1 to 4 players. So I absolutely love this game. So this is like, I'm not going to open it because actually this is the second printing, second edition, and I actually haven't punched out all the pieces in this one yet. And I'm not going to play with this copy until I sleeve all the cards. And I packed away my first edition. So the copy that we played with that weekend was a friend's copy who is just as obsessed with Obsession. He's actually the one who introduced me to the game, Alex, a friend from my local gaming group. He played it at PAX Unplugged back in 2019, or was it 2018? I can't remember which year that was. No, it was 2018. Yes, 2018. He played it at PAX Unplugged in 2018. I did not get a chance to play it, but he immediately bought the game, and then I played it like the day after we all got back from PAX Unplugged, and I fell in love with it, and I immediately ordered a copy. And then when he and I both saw that there's a second printing coming out, we both ordered the second printing as well, because you need 2 copies of a game that you really love. And so I also so he and I both have 2 copies of this game, and we're both sleevers. We both sleeve all of our cards. So his second printing was all sleeved up and everything. So we used his copy to play the other day. And just playing it again after, it was almost a year that, since I had last played this game, and it just reaffirmed to me why it's my favorite game of all time. Like, I just love it so freaking much. Like, I love how well the theme and mechanics are integrated in this game. It's about Victorian England. You're trying to build up your estate's reputation and wealth, and it's like really a good balance between those two, and you really can't perform more certain activities until you build up your family's reputation. So if you're an idiot like me and you focus more on wealth, you're not going to be able to perform as many different activities, which can affect whether you get like the bonuses for like the different events that come up during the game. So there are different kinds of events like courtship events and like different fairs and this and that. And then, the winners of those are the people who have completed a certain number of activities of a certain kind of category. So, and you can't complete more and more valuable activities of a certain category unless you build up your family's reputation. And I just kept on focusing on trying to get as much money as possible. I did actually end up cheating a little bit because I ended up performing an activity twice, which I then realized later on that I was not allowed to perform because I was not at the reputation that would have allowed me to perform that activity. So there was that little mistake. No one noticed it. I didn't notice it. So I really need to be more careful about that in future plays. But yeah, it is such a freaking good game. If you can get your hands on Obsession, highly recommend it. I do know that Dan Halligan has pre-orders available yet again, so definitely hop on. Like, I know it's a highly sought after game, and I know that it is a bit hard for people to get, but yeah, if you can get your hands on it, it's an absolute must-have. So I've been obsessed with Obsession since 2018, and I'm still as obsessed with it. I wish I had been wearing my cat Obsession shirt, but it's waiting to be washed. So next time in the next video, maybe. But yes, if you want an Obsession cat shirt, you should go to sirmeeple.com and buy one. I actually convinced him to make those shirts because I'm obsessed with Obsession, and I actually have 3 Obsession t-shirts now. So Obsession is amazing, and just playing it again really reaffirmed why it's my all-time favorite game. Just, it's a very tight game. I feel like every action you take matters. Towards the end, you're really trying to figure out, like, how you can maximize things and, you know, increase your family's reputation and get all the stuff that you need, you know, to get the points that you're going to need in the end, you know, and, you know, there is a little bit of take that. So someone kept on stealing my servants. He kept on stealing, I think it was my lady's maid that he stole a couple of times, or was it something else? I can't remember. Yes, I think it was my lady's maids that he stole, and I needed those for an end of game objective, and so I was not too happy about that. So there's a little tiny bit of take that, but I actually like it because, you know, it's just a little tiny bit and there's not a whole lot of that going on, and you also have your own personal end game objectives that you're trying to achieve. Yeah, it's just such a great game. I know one of the complaints people have about it is the artwork. I'm fine with the artwork. I think it's fine. I think it suits the time period of the game. Like, I don't think during Victorian England things were super flashy. Like, you know, there weren't like super flashy dresses and colors and stuff like that. So I think it fits. I know that people said there's like a lack of artwork. You know, so the cards have images of people on them and they have like, you know, names. I don't know if there were actually people or if he just made up names to go with the images he found of these like old-timey people. And one of my biggest pet peeves in board games is having photographs of people in the games, which is a huge problem when it comes to IP games like Harry Potter games and stuff like that, Game of Thrones games and things like that. So it's one of the biggest reasons I've never bought Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, because it has images of the actors in it, which irritates me. It's like my biggest pet peeve, and I just cannot buy it. I cannot play it. I don't want to see the actors. I want to see like original artwork. However, in this game, even though it uses images, it does not bother me because they're images of people who are long dead. They're black and white, so they actually feel very artsy to me. It doesn't feel tacky to me. I really find when board games use images of people, it just feels really tacky to me, and I just don't want it. But in this game, like I said, it feels artsy and I like it. So yeah, so check out Obsession by Dan Halligan. The next game I played was Western Legends, which came out in 2018, designed by Hervé Lemaitre. I hope I got that right. Published by Colossal Games for 2 to 6 players. This is a sandbox style game. I think it might be the first ever sandbox game I've played. I am not 100% sure on that, but maybe it is. Like, you're just going into different parts of the board, just doing whatever you want, not really paying attention to what others are doing. I mean, sometimes you might pay attention to what others are doing. You know, if you want to engage in a duel with someone to try and get some points that way. But yeah, so let me just read the description for you guys. Historic characters from the American Wild West face off and write new legends across the face of history. Gather your gun, your mount, and your grit as you forge your path into the history books. So I played, oh God, what's her name? Was it Annie something? Oh, I forgot her name already. But yeah, I played some woman character. But yeah, like there's just different areas of the board you can go to. There's like point-to-point movement, because you know you have certain movement points unless you buy like a horse or something that will allow you more movement points, and you're just trying to go to different areas. You can mine for gold, you can go and gamble, you can engage in duels, you can rob banks, you can do all kinds of stuff to try and get points. And the game end triggers once someone hits 20 points. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. I think it's a game that will, so I played it at 4 players, and I really think it's a game you will only enjoy at higher player counts. I cannot imagine enjoying this at a lower player count, because then people could be spread all over the board, not interacting with each other. And for this kind of a game, I think that would not be fun at all. So I think for this kind of a game, you definitely want higher player counts. So it's going to be a game that's harder to get to the table, of course. And you want, I don't know if you want to use the expansion or not. We didn't play with the expansion, but if the expansion just expands the board, which makes more, you know, creates more areas for people to go to, that could end up, you know, meaning less player interaction, because now you have more space to cover and more spaces to run away and do stuff on. So I don't know, you know, if I get this game someday, then I don't know if I'll ever want to play with the expansion, but I actually really enjoyed it. You know, I think it's a really cool game with a Western theme. I don't have too many Western themed games. Actually, I'm starting to get a bit more than I used to have. But I did add it to my wish list on BGG. So I'm going to see if I can maybe trade with someone for it. So yeah, so that was Western Legends. Let's go on to Patchwork Halloween Edition. So this does not even have its own entry on BGG. It's just under Patchwork. So Patchwork, the original one, came out in 2014. This is designed by Uwe Rosenberg. It's published by Lookout Games for 2 players. So I had never played the original Patchwork. I had no desire whatsoever to play it because I think it's just super ugly. So when this one came out, I was like, I have to have it because I'm obsessed with art, Halloween, and I absolutely love the artwork in this game. And I'm actually glad I got this edition and not the original one, because I've read in multiple like threads and on BGG forums that this is balanced. It's been rebalanced to be more fair. That being said, I really, really suck at it. So you're going to have, oh no, some pieces fell out. All right, so you're going to have this board, which is like your time tracker. Like you're going to have your little pumpkins go on this. And, you know, so you're going to be purchasing tiles and moving up the number of spaces the tile says. Like, so for example, you can move this gravestone marker up to 3 spaces to get a tile. So you're going to have all these tiles randomly placed in a big circle, and you're going to be getting them, and you will pay the purchase price in eyeballs for the tile you get, and then move your marker up the number of spaces next to the time thing. And then, you know, if you happen to pass an eyeball on here, then you get to collect income. You will get to collect the number of eyeballs showing in your quilt. And basically, if you pass one of these, I think there's only 5 of these pumpkins. I felt like there really needed to be more. So if you pass one of these, you will get to pick it up, and it gets to fill in, you know, those small empty pesky spaces on your quilt. And then at the end of the game, so the game ends once, you know, both players have reached the center. They get to collect income one final time, and then you calculate your final score. And I believe the final score is your number of eyeballs minus the number of empty spaces, but for each empty space, I believe it's -2. So I scored -5 in the first game and -25 in my second game, -25. So yeah, I lost both times. I think it's really hard. I just don't understand how people get positive scores in this game. So I definitely want to keep at it, and I will continue to play my Halloween edition throughout the year, even when it's not Halloween, because I love Halloween. And there is some Halloween decor I keep up year round in my apartment, so I'm going to do that. I just really love these tiles. Like, I seriously love the artwork on them. I think I already showed you something similar to that one. Like, check out these cool pumpkins. Oh my god, I love them. It's like candy. Yeah, super cool. Super cool. Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's also kind of luck dependent. It's kind of a little bit luck dependent, you know, depending on, I guess, who gets to go first and which 3 tiles are available in front of them. And I don't know. I mean, you know, but it's one of those games where whoever is farther behind on the time track gets to keep on taking moves until they pass the player in front of them. So yeah, but I really liked it. And so I'm glad I finally own Patchwork. If you have played this game and you score in the positives, I would love to get some tips. So tell me how you can score a positive score in this game, because I really do not know. Also, this game is on Board Game Arena, so I actually played it on Board Game Arena once. That's when I scored -25. So that is Patchwork Halloween Edition. The next game I played is a game I do not own. It's 7 Wonders Architect by 2021. Antoine Bauza is the designer. I guess the publisher is Repose Production. I think that's what it said on BGG. I don't know. It's for 2 to 7 players, and this is like a set collection game with, you know, some variable player powers. So you will have, I'll throw up a picture, but each player has like a different kind of structure thing that they're building from the bottom up, and you are just trying to collect cards to be able to build your structure, which will give you some points. You might take some warring cards and trigger a war and get some points from that. I was not a huge fan. I might need to play it a couple more times to see how I feel. Of course, I've played the original 7 Wonders. But it just felt so luck dependent to me. Like, you know, you have 2 piles of cards, one on each side that you can choose from. One is your own deck and one is someone else's deck. And then you have the main deck in the center, which is face down. And if you don't want to pick a card from either your deck or your neighbor's deck, then you can choose a face down card. And that's all luck dependent. You know, because you need different cards to build different parts of your structure, starting from the bottom and going up. So you might need like 2 of the same cards, you might need 3 of the same cards, you might need 3 or 4 different cards. it's just like going through round after round after round, just hoping to get the cards you want. Like I ended up winning actually, so I'm the one who triggered the game end. The game end triggers once someone has built their entire structure, and then I actually tied with another player, and the tiebreaker was if one of those people was the one who triggered the game end, then they would win, or whoever had the most parts of their building complete or something like that, which was me. But yeah, it just felt really luck dependent. It just didn't feel like there was too much strategy in it. I don't know, maybe I need to play it a few more times to see if, you know, I feel differently about it with a few more plays. I'm really trying to become a person who does not just immediately think, oh, this is a really great game and I need it. Like, you know, before any game I played and I just liked, I'd be like, oh yeah, I have to add this game to my collection. So I want to be more selective because things are out of control in my apartment and I really need to start being more selective about which games I want to add to my collection. So I'm trying to be more critical of games for that reason. Because, you know, money does not grow on trees. So I need to be more selective. And so thinking about this game, I'm not sure if it's one I would add to my collection, though. You know, I thought it was pleasing to the eyes. I liked the way it looked. You know, it was fun, I guess, kind of fun. I don't know, because it was kind of frustrating as well, just going around and around waiting for my turn, hoping I would get the cards I want. If you've played it, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about Seven Wonders Architects. I think maybe it's like a very much of a gateway game. I think if you want to introduce someone to Seven Wonders, this would be the game to do it, rather than the original board game. I guess that's what I would say. Okay, the next game I played is Whirling Witchcraft, which is a 2021 game designed by Eric Anderson Sundin, published by Alderock Games, for 2 to 5 players. So this game is interesting. I really wanted this game, so I actually ended up selling a couple games. Did I sell or trade something so I could get the money to buy this one because I didn't get sent a review copy. So I really wanted this game, so I ended up buying it. Yes, I absolutely love the artwork. I'm obsessed with Weberson Santiago's artwork. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, there isn't too much of his artwork. I mean, it's kind of visible on these player boards and then on some of the cards. Like, not all of the cards are like, you know, super artistic, just the ones with the different characters. So you will have a player board, which you will store your ingredients on, and then these character cards. So I played 2 games of this, and we played with the basic characters, which, you know, so everyone had the same basic ability. So you see some of his really cool artwork there, and then you get to see some of his really cool artwork on these cards, which I really love. I really love his, yeah, I love, why is that? Oh, I don't know if I mixed up some cards, but yeah, I really love his artistic style. I think it's really cool. I love that card. Okay, so you are going to start out with the ingredients that are listed on the back of your card, and you are trying to brew potions, and you will have a cauldron. So you are going to play an ingredient card, a spell card or whatever from your hand on to your board, below your board, and then you are going to brew those, and you are going to do it all together. So like, let's suppose I revealed this. I am going to take the ingredients from my board and place them on the top half of the card. So, and then I'm going to take the ingredients from the common supply and place them on the bottom half. Then the top ingredients go back to the common supply. Then I'm going to place the ingredients I just brewed onto my cauldron and pass it to the player to the right. He is then going to place those ingredients onto his board. If there is anything overflowing, he will put it back on the cauldron, pass it back to me, and it will go in my witch's circle. Once someone has reached 5 ingredients in their witch's circle, they win. So we played 1 game of this, which I guess was a practice game, and I just totally gave away a victory to the player on my left. I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I was just so concerned with the player on my right, and I don't know, things just got out of hand. And he won very easily. He won like super quickly. So then in the next game, I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing now, and I'm going to do a better job, and I'm not going to just hand away a victory again. And the next time I played, I won, and I feel like I won a bit too easily. Like, I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about this. Like, I feel like I hyped it up in my mind so much. I had, everyone was getting review copies. It seemed like everyone was playing this, and I've been hearing so many amazing things about it. I was like, I have to play it. I need to find out what's so good about it. But I think I hyped it up in my mind so much that it wasn't as amazing as I thought it was going to be. It's an interesting mechanic. Oh, also there are, I should mention, so each, on these recipe cards, there are these different arcana symbols. And if you get an even number of arcana symbols, then of a certain kind, you get the special ability associated with that arcana symbol. So once you get 2 of a certain arcana symbol, you get to use its ability. If you get 4 of it, then cumulative, you'll get to use its ability again. And then finally, if you get 6 of it, you'll get to use its ability a 3rd time. So it's cumulative because, you keep all the ingredient cards in front of you, and then, whatever potions you're able to brew in that round, you'll use your ingredients to brew them so they don't go away. They stay below your board. So those arcana symbols, have some cool abilities. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like I need to play a couple more times, maybe with some of the advanced characters, to see how I really feel about this game. For now, I know it's going to be a game that is staying in my collection because I like the theme of it. I love the artwork. I'm obsessed with the artwork. And yeah, it was fun, but I think a lot of us, we played a full 5-player game of it. I think we were all like, yes, that's nice. But we're not sure it's like a game that we would be crazy about playing again. I think I need to play again and see whether it's a game where you really just need to focus on the person to your right, or, I just want to see more of the strategy in this game. I want to see whether, you really need to pay attention to both people, the people on your left and your right. Like, I don't know, because I feel like as long as you're paying attention to the person on your right and making sure that your own board isn't overflowing, that's enough. And the person to your left actually doesn't matter then. So I don't know. I really want to play it again and see how I feel about it. For now, like I said, it's definitely staying in my collection. And yeah, I actually played it with the cards unsleeved. I was like, I'm going to sleeve all of these cards, but I was like, gosh, sleeving games is getting to be so expensive, and I just was not able to find the sleeves I needed, so I ended up playing it without sleeves, and I lived. Okay, so so just some minor production complaints, I guess, is the cauldron. My ring keeps, these keep on popping out, which I'm annoyed with, so I might super glue those. And another thing was, like, we really needed more ingredients of the bottom 3. So, in a 5-player game, I think, there's a way to actually get around that. I think maybe if you just end up using 1 cube as a tracker instead of having a cube sitting on each block, that might alleviate that problem, because we were running out of cubes in a 5-player game. So instead of having, each block filled with cubes, we might just use it as a tracker instead, or something like that. I think that would help. And then we'll have an abundance of cubes in that case. So there we go. So that is Whirling Witchcraft. If you've played this game, please tell me what you think. I would love to know what you think of this game. I know people really love it. Right now, I'll say I like it. I'm not crazy about it, but again, I'm definitely keeping it in my collection because, I absolutely love the artwork. And again, I like the theme, Whirling Witchcraft. So, and I don't think I have any other games with that kind of a mechanic. I guess that's similar to something like Between Two Castles or something like that. There's also Kodama Forest, I think, is the game where you also have to pay attention to players on your left and your right. So there are more and more games coming out like that where you have to pay attention to what's going on your left and your right. But in this case, I'm not sure you really need to pay attention to both sides. So that's what I am a bit curious about. So if you've played it, please tell me what you think. And again, the advanced characters might make it more interesting. The next game I played was Cryptid, which came out in 2018, designed by Hal Duncan and Ruth Beavers, published by Osprey Games for 3 to 5 players. This is a deduction game. I've played it a number of times. I actually own it, but it's buried somewhere in my apartment, so I didn't find it. I didn't bring it out. In terms of deduction games, I like this one. It's interesting because each player, you have this like modular board and you set it up and what, you follow the instructions for which clue each person is going to get, which is secret to them. And so, you go around placing like these discs and these cubes. You go around asking the other players, yes and no questions to try and deduce where the cryptid is hiding. And you're trying to figure out the other player's clues by deduction, by seeing where they place cubes, which indicates a no answer to a question that someone asked them, and where they place their circle discs, which indicates a yes. And by that, you're supposed to deduce what their clues are to try and figure out where the cryptid is. This game is just too much for my brain. Like, we played a 5-player game of it, and I just feel like there's just, you get the sheet with all the possible clues that someone might have, right? So mine was one space away from a mountain territory. Someone else's could be like 3 spaces away from X, Y, and Z, whatever. It could be like on something. It could be like, near Bear County or whatever. I don't know. There's like a bunch of different clues that, you have to choose from to deduce from what they have. It's like just too much. I just feel like my brain is just unable to process it. Like, I'm just like looking at it. I really think it's a crapshoot. Like, I really think you just need to start guessing. Like, you might need to maybe deduce 1 or 2 people's clues if you can, and then just hopefully guess on the rest. That's my that's my take on the game. If you've played it, tell me what you think. In terms of deduction games, I want to know what you think of this one. I will say my favorite deduction games remain The Search for Planet X, which I think is by far the best deduction game I've played, and then Awkward Guess. So tell me what you think about this deduction game. My brain just feels fried when I play this. I just can't. I feel like I need a sheet, like a pad of paper and a pen in order to really properly try and deduce. Like, I just feel like I would end up writing too much stuff. Like, it's not, I just feel like my brain is just processing too much and I'm not enjoying it. I guess, I don't know. I mean, how do you enjoy deduction games? I guess that's what the enjoyment of deduction games is, like frying your brain trying to figure something out. I don't know, but yeah, so I like it. I'll keep it in my collection for now, but yeah, so that was the last game I played. If you've played Cryptid, please tell me what you think of it. So let's move on to games that I am backing. So I am backing this game called Caral. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. So Caral is, it says, compete on the spiral path of the ancient city, feel the unique rhythm of its heyday, and become the greatest builder of Caral. This is published by Funtails. I don't know if I have any of their other games. I don't think I do. So it's from the creators of Glenmore, Feed the Kraken, and some other quiz club or something like that. I don't know what that is. So yeah, it's by Funtails. It looks interesting. It's gotten really positive reviews. It doesn't seem like it's filled with too much stuff. I think I want to try and start staying away from games that have like a billion gazillion components in them and just maybe take too much time to set up. Sometimes I just feel a bit exhausted with that, but then other times I really like it. Like Bitoku I really loved, and that has a billion components in it too. I don't know. If you're backing Caral, please tell me what you think. I don't know who the designer is. Is it even listed here? I don't know who the designer is. I feel like that should be at the top of the page, no? Klaus Jürgen Red. I totally butchered that name. That is the designer, I believe. So yeah, so tell me if you're backing Caral. Should I keep it? Should I not? Please let me know. Because the deluxe edition is expensive and I'm a sucker for deluxe editions. If I'm going to back something, I want the deluxe. But at the same time, I really need to stop backing everything like I just mentioned earlier in the video. So please let me know if you're backing Caral. If you are, why or why not? Should I keep my pledge? Are there other games that are similar to it? Do I need this game? Please let me know. Okay, the next game I am backing is again, I've mentioned this before, Senjutsu Battle for Japan. I'm expected to receive a production copy of this game, so I'll be getting a free production copy of it. It's like a skirmish game. I'll be actually making a 1-minute overview video for it within the next few days. Now that I'm back from vacation, I enjoyed it. If you enjoy skirmish games, I think you might like this one. Like I said, it reminds me a bit of Unmatched. There's 6 days to go, and it's made a crap ton of money. It's made over $1 million now. Wow. Yeah, so I really don't think it needs me to make a video, but I've already been paid to make the video, so of course I'm going to. But, you know, maybe I can bring in some backers that they don't already have to make it worth their while, I hope. Okay, so the next game I am backing, which I will also be owed a production copy of, and I'm going to be playing it tomorrow, so I don't have much to say about it right now, is City of the Great Machine. So the moment I saw this game, I felt like I had to have it just because I love the theme of it. It's a one versus many type of game, and I enjoy those. Like, I really enjoy Whitehall Mystery, which is like the streamlined version of Letters from Whitechapel, and it's like steampunk Victorian England. I mean, how could I, you know, resist this game? So I'm super excited about this game. I'm super excited to play it tomorrow. It seems to have gotten really great reviews. I love the artwork and everything about it. Yeah, the artwork really appeals to me. This is published by Crowd Games. And there are 13 days to go in this one, so you guys have a bit of time to decide on this one. Yeah, so let me know if you're backing this one or not, and what you think about it. Like I said, the reviews seem really good for it. Yeah, Cardboard Rhino says there's a lot of tension from hidden movement and the secrecy that I think fits the theme perfectly. So that's what I like to hear. I like to hear that the theme and mechanics go together really well. That's always so important to me. So it's one of the most important things to me when I'm deciding whether or not to back a game or get a game. So yeah, so that is City of the Great Machine. So 13 days to go on that, and I'm going to play it tomorrow, so I'll be able to discuss my views on the game next week. The next game I am backing, so again, I've mentioned it before, is Grove. So I guess I won't say much about that. It's just like a 9 card, is it 9 cards? 9 cards, 18 cards, something like that, solitaire game. 9 card, yes. You know, with citrus fruits. Not too pricey. I feel like I can manage that. And the next game is, the last one again, is Paint the Roses. The designer actually commented on the last video explaining why, explaining who he thinks might enjoy this kind of a game. Yeah, I'm still a bit unsure. I think it's one of those games I will make a last minute decision on. It's got 5 days to go. It's made $270,027. 270027. Oh, if only the 7 and the 2 at the end were reversed, then it would be a palindrome. Okay, so yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say about this. You guys left some really good comments about whether or not you're backing this and why or why not. I'm still really torn. I'm still so torn. I'm really worried, so I guess one of the things I want to know is, will the deluxe version be available later on? Because if the deluxe is not available, and if there are Kickstarter exclusives, then I feel like I should keep my Kickstarter pledge of it. And then if I don't like it, I can just try to trade it or sell it. So I might do that. If it's not for me, I will just end up trading it or selling it, which I've been doing a lot of now. So I think maybe I'll keep it for that reason. All right, so let's move on to games I'm culling. And then there's questions about culling, which I'll get to after this. So the games I'm culling are this time around. I don't have them because I know they're in boxes somewhere, but I've decided to call them Barenpark and Mariposas. So Barenpark I'm culling because originally there's 3 games that are quite similar in mechanics. So there's New York Zoo, Barenpark, and then the Grand Carnival. Is it the Great Carnival or Grand Carnival? I think it's Grand. So when I played New York Zoo, I had not yet played Barenpark. And I was told by Jan Bigas he's no longer of Quackalope, but at the time he was of Quackalope, and he told me that Barenpark is better than New York Zoo. And I really like New York Zoo. I mean, I love the animal meeples. I love, I'm not a huge fan of zoos. Ethically, morally, I'm opposed to them depending on the zoo. But yeah, so I really like the game because of the animal meeples, and I think it was like I don't think I have too many tile placement games doing with animals, maybe Isle of Cats. So anyway, I absolutely loved it. But then Jan told me that Barenpark is better. And then I played Barenpark and I reluctantly agreed. Yes, Barenpark is better. And then I played the Grand Carnival, which I think is even better than those two. So, you know, I am limited for space. And I actually really like the artwork of the Grand Carnival better than Barenpark. The artwork of Barenpark actually didn't appeal to me too much. I actually bought the expansion and never even played with the expansion. I only played the base game once, and I'm going to trade it or sell it. So I actually have it listed up for trade on BGG right now. So I'm like, I don't need all three. So I don't need the Grand Carnival, Barenpark, and New York Zoo. Currently, New York Zoo is packed away in a box somewhere, and the Grand Carnival is accessible to me, and Barenpark is in a box somewhere, hopefully waiting to be traded to someone. So yeah, so I am getting rid of Barenpark. If you have all three games, tell me which of the three you prefer and why, and do you think I am making a mistake? I would like to know what you think. So that's one game I am calling. The next one is, I feel really bad because I feel like I'm always getting rid of AEG games, but I swear it's not just AEG. Mariposas. I love the artwork. I love the board. I love the butterfly meeples. All of that really appeals to me. I've only played the game once. Maybe I need to play it one more time. Maybe I need to do that before I really decide whether or not I want to get rid of it. But right now I currently have it up for trade on BGG. I played it once. The one time I played it was a 2-player game, and me and my sister were just both so frustrated while playing it. We just thought it was really hard to get points in this game. We didn't know if we were doing something wrong. We read and reread the rules, and we were pretty sure we were doing everything right. I don't know. If you've played Mariposas, tell me what you think of it. I'm really curious what you would think of it. What you think of it if you've played it. Tell me, am I making a mistake by getting rid of it? Again, you know, I don't think I have any other. Oh, actually, I do have another game about butterflies. It's called Flutterby something. It's really, the print is kind of tiny. It's a game from Good Games Publishing. It's from the same company that published Funfair and Unfair, I think. So I guess I do have another butterfly game, but it doesn't have butterfly meeples in it. It's a card game. But yeah, if you've played Mariposas, please tell me what you think. I would like to know, is it a game that should stay in my collection? Are there other games similar to it? I don't know. Please tell me what you think about it. So right now, those are the two games that I've recently selected to put up for trade on BGG. So let's get into questions. So one of the questions I received recently is, do you have any themes that specifically make a game less appealing to you? Yes, there are games that I just have no interest in because of the theme. So I'm really not interested in, like, unless they're super cute, like robots and stuff like that. So I actually did back Transmissions, I think it was called, because it had really cute robots in it. So unless the robots are super cute, not interested. Zombies, not really interested in zombies. Not really interested in general in Cthulhu. The only Cthulhu games I have are Pandemic, the Call of Cthulhu, and I have Love Letter, the Cthulhu edition. I don't think I have any others. Not that I can think of, but I think those are the only ones I have. I don't know. I just, I know it's a free IP. There's like, that's why, there's tons of games about it, but, it's just, I feel like it's overdone. I'm just, yeah. So not super interested in Cthulhu. What else? Zombies, Cthulhu. Oh, like really boring themes, I guess. Like, if something is related to farming and the artwork is really bland, not going to be interested in it. If it's farming, but it's super cute, like a cute farming game, then I might be into it. Could not get into Agricola. I just think it's super ugly. What else? I don't know. I guess war themes I'm not really interested in. I guess I'm not, unless it's a game like Root, where it makes war look really cute with cute little animals, woodland creatures. I guess I'm not super interested in war games. or war stuff in general. I guess there's not too many themes that I will avoid or that will be less appealing to me. For me, it's a lot about the artwork. If the artwork can present it in a way that makes it appealing to me, then I'll probably go for it, even if it's something that I typically would not go for. So yeah, if you can find me a farming game that's like super with really nice artwork or really whimsical artwork that doesn't look super boring and bland, then I'd probably go for it if it's a good game. The next question was, so I was asked whether or not I have a Patreon. So I guess I want to ask you guys, I am actually thinking of starting something similar to a Patreon. I have a KoFi account, and KoFi came out with like subscription levels, so you can have something similar to Patreon. They don't take out a fee, which is one reason I, would prefer to go with KoFi, and I already have an account with them. So I'm thinking of doing that. So I guess what I want to ask people who already support other creators on Patreon, would you be hesitant to support someone on KoFi because it's another site you'd have to sign up for? I don't know. If you can tell me what you think, that would be really appreciated. I am thinking of setting up different kinds of pledge levels, or not pledge levels, subscription levels that would have like different benefits. And for the game I hope to self-publish someday, you would be able to get, for one of the higher tier levels, be able to get like a credit in the book, the rule book, like, for being a funder, like a supporter of that game. So I'm working on that right now, trying to figure out the different levels and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know if KoFi is something that you guys think you would be willing to support someone on in terms of subscription levels. There's another question. Would you ever consider contributing to Dice Tower or similar to, in return, get more people to look at your channel? So by contribute to, do you mean like Dice Tower breakfast or something? I would suppose that one would need to be asked to do that. I've never been asked to contribute to Dice Tower. So I guess no. Yeah, if I'm ever asked to, maybe I'll consider it. At this point, I've not been asked to contribute to them for Dice Tower breakfast or anything like that. I don't know, maybe I think Tom did reach out very early on. He also did say that I have an open invitation to visit him at a studio, and since I was at Florida, I had messaged him, to shoot content or whatever, but they were very busy preparing for the Dice Tower retreat, so the timing was bad for me to be there last week. So yeah, I don't know. There is another channel that reached out to me to see if I would like to do some playthrough videos for their channel. I won't mention which channel yet. I've been working on it for months. I'm still not up to par, apparently. So, I think it was like the week before I left for vacation, or 2 weeks before then, I had worked on a video and reviewed it with that channel's channel manager, and yeah, I'm still not quite there yet for my videos to appear on that channel. So I need to work on that. It's really the visual part that is pretty not good, like the angle of the camera on my table. I really need to figure out how to shoot playthroughs that look better than the ones I've done so far. So yeah, I would love for more people to look at my channel. So if I can find a way to do that, that would be great. Yeah, so if you guys want to see me on the Dice Tower, you can reach out to Tom and ask him. The next question, so there's a bunch of questions about culling. So one is, how do you go about culling games? I'm starting to get to the point where I need to think about culling, and I am a serious noob when it comes to having my games move on. Another one is, do you typically just list your culled games on BGG? Do you have any other ways that you sell your games? And finally, the last one is, I have a bunch of games I need to cull, but I'm unsure of the best way to go about that. I guess I could just list them all on BGG. Is that the best way? Is there any other way? So the way I've gone about culling games now and deciding which games to cull is because my collection is out of control, and I've recently been thinking, what's a good number for me to keep my collection limited to? Like if I had a house, then I guess I would be willing to say unlimited, because I would have more space and I would just keep on buying more shelves to put all my games on. But realistically, looking around my room, I know, especially as a content creator, that there are games that are going to sit on these shelves unplayed for years. So I am starting to think about that. So when I look around my room now, I think about can I foresee myself playing that game in the next year, in the next 2 years? Is there a reason I want to keep it? Is it a collectible game? Is it a designer that I really love? Does it have artwork that I just cannot live without? So I was able to call Imperium Classics and Legends because even though I love the artwork, I just knew I wasn't going to play it again. And I like, I like that they had certain civilizations in it that are not usually represented, like the Persians and some other civilizations that I thought were really cool. But realistically, I knew I was never going to play it again. So, and it's just, that was a big box. Those 2 boxes were big and it was just taking up room. So, and I don't think it's a game that I would be sad if I got rid of it. Like, so I had to sit there and think about, yes, I like the artwork. Is it enough for me to want to take the cards out and frame them? So at one point I considered that. I considered, someone suggested making artwork out of the cards if I really like the artwork. So I took out the cards and I looked at them and I was like, you know what? Like, I can live without this. Like, I don't need this up on my wall. No big deal. So finally I made the decision to cull those games. So, there's a bunch of different questions I'm asking myself when I look around my collection, my games. I'm thinking to myself, is this a game? Do I have something similar to it mechanically? Do I have something else similar to it thematically? Is this artwork that I have seen, like, the kind of artwork I've seen multiple times, like the Micho? Like, you have one game of the Michos, then, you feel like all the games you have of the Micho kind of look the same. Like, no offense to the Micho, I actually really like his artwork, but like, it's not vastly different from one game to another. So if I have one game of the Michos, I'm not going to feel like, I'm going to be missing out on a lot if I cull some of the other games that have his artwork in it. So, there's a bunch of questions I'm starting to ask myself. Is it a collector game? Is it something that I'm really going to miss? Is it something that's going to be worth a lot of money someday? So I am just asking myself these questions to come to these hard decisions about which games to cull, because I have so many games I need to cull. My apartment is just ridiculously out of control. I have a couple law school friends coming to visit me next weekend, and I'm quite embarrassed by the look of my apartment right now. And like I said, the boxes that I have filled with games are too big for me to even put into my car to take to my mom's house. My car is a little compact juke. So, yeah, and now I'm trying to play more and more games from my shelf of shame, and then deciding whether or not I want to cull those. So let's move on to how you go about culling. So once you've made the decision to cull, I posted on BGG that I've started trading games. I've gotten some really good trades, some not so great trades, which maybe I regretted afterwards. And someone said that you should never trade. You should just sell your games. I don't know if that's good advice or not. I feel like people are more open to trading than just selling and buying. I don't know. I've had certain games listed on BGG for sale for quite some time and no one is biting, and I think it's a reasonable price. But when someone buys a game, they're buying it and paying for shipping. And if that game is being sold on Amazon, then, tough luck. You're probably going to have a hard time selling your game. I feel like that. So I feel like it might be easier to trade. So I've listed a bunch of games for trade, actually. So all the games I'm planning on culling, I've listed for trading, and then I've made a wish list on BGG of the games that I want in trade, and then you just click on the shopping link, like there's that drop-down menu, then click on trades, and then click on direct matches. So once you've listed which games you want in trade and which games you have available for trade from your collection, you can click on direct matches, and it'll show you what you want and what they want from your collection. So it'll create the matches for you. And then I basically go through. The problem with this is a lot of people don't list the condition of the game that they are trading, whereas I try to do that with every game I have up for trade. I list the condition it's in, which will show up for them. But most of the people don't have the condition listed. So usually when I make a proposal, I ask them along with my proposal what the condition of the game is. I've made some pretty good trades on BGG. So I traded, what's that name of that game? It was a game from Burnt Island Games that I wanted to get rid of when all that stuff happened. It's that big Endeavor Age of Sail. I had actually never played it. I had opened it. It was out of shrink, but it was still unpunched and everything. I ended up trading that for an out of print game I wanted, plus some money, because the trade felt a bit unfair, so she agreed to send me over a little payment plus an out-of-print game I wanted. So I was really happy with that trade. I've gotten some other out-of-print games through trade, like the expansion The Carnies, the expansion to the Bloody Inn. I was able to get out of a trade. I was able to get the game SPQF, which is an out-of-print game from a trade. That is the game that Fort by Leader Games was based on. And I like the animal artwork in that game. I was able to get some other out-of-print games that I really wanted from trade, like Isfahan, which actually, the way it's spelled, it's actually supposed to be Asfahan. So Asfahan is a city in Iran, which was also a part of the Persian Empire, and the Safavids built this amazing, beautiful bridge in Asfahan called Siyosipol, which means 33 Arches Bridge. And Asfahan is my favorite city in Iran. There's a saying called Asfahan Nisf Jahan, which means Asfahan is half of the world. So very recently I was able to get Isfahan, in a trade. What else? Yeah, so I think trading is a good option for getting rid of your games that you are culling. If you think differently, please tell me why. I feel like I'm having a hard time selling games on BGG. Part of the reason is like I kind of feel bad, like, if I've spent so much money on a game, I've only played it once, it's basically in like new condition. I want to sell it for as close to the price I paid for it, but that's going to be hard to do, especially if that game is selling on Amazon and people can get free Prime shipping from Amazon. And shipping is insanely expensive these days. So since shipping is insanely expensive these days, even within the United States, I feel like trading is the better option, because then people feel like all they're paying for is the cost of the shipping and they're getting something in return. That's why I think trading is a better option these days. If you feel differently, please tell me. Please tell me how you go about culling your games in the comments below. I don't know of any other way. Someone asked, is there somewhere else to sell them or whatever? Oh yeah, locally. So I've managed to sell some games locally. I run a board game meetup, so I posted that I was selling my copy of Oath, Empire in Exile from Leader Games, and someone wanted to buy it. I lost like $10, $20 on it, but whatever. I knew it was never going to play it. So yeah, I made a mistake. And ate that cost, but at least I was able to sell it locally and not have to, go to somewhere to ship it, because it is a really big game. So if you can find board gaming groups locally, that's a great way to sell games. I'm gonna, keep on posting in my local board gaming groups which games I'm hoping to sell and cull, and if someone bites, then that would be great. Also, I'm attending PAX Unplugged in December, so if there are any games from my collection that you see that I have put up for trade, feel free to reach out to me and see how much I would sell it for. If you want to buy it from me, and if you happen to be at PAX Unplugged, I will happily bring it with me so that, we don't have to do the whole shipping thing. So there is that. So I think those were all the questions related to board gaming in one way or another. And finally, the last question is, how was your Halloween? So every year on Halloween, I throw a game night and, a Halloween themed game night. But this year I went to Florida. So the first few days I spent in Fort Lauderdale, which is where my sister lives, and it was very hot and humid. It was a great trip. I got to meet Stephen Buonocore. I hope I pronounced that right, Buonocore. He was the founder of Stronghold Games, and we met up for dinner. I got to ride in his really cool car, his new toy, which is like some, really cool Corvette car. He put the top down. It's a sports car. That was really cool. We had a nice dinner, talked about some industry stuff. I was able to get some, advice from him about, stuff that I've dealt with in the industry, got his perspective about everything. There's a lot of stuff I can't say right now or ever, because it was private conversation. He was very candid with me about a lot of his feelings about certain things. And it was just really nice to meet with an industry professional who took the time out of his night to treat me to dinner. He picked me up and treated me to a really nice dinner. We walked a little bit around the plaza area because there was a night bazaar there. So that was really nice. I really loved being able to talk to a veteran in this industry about the stuff that, I'm going through and how, his approach to the industry is and all of that, which again, I'm not going to get into that, but that was really cool. And then I went to Orlando and I met up with a content creator friend of mine who, this was my first time meeting up with her and her husband. So that is Grecia of Midnight Board Gaming. She has a Spanish board gaming content channel. I'll leave a link below. If you're a Spanish speaker, you can check out her channel. And it was so amazing meeting up with her and her husband. And my little sister was with me as well. And we had an amazing Halloween. So on Halloween Eve, we went to dinner at this place called this Turkish restaurant called Bosphorus, and that was, we picked her and her husband up, and because they had flown in from Mexico and didn't have a car, so we had my little sister's car, and then we went to this Turkish restaurant, and it happened to be near this place called Boxi Park in Orlando, which was a really happening place. So it was Halloween Eve. There were people dressed in costumes. There was live music going on, different kinds of bands. There was amazing Halloween decor at Boxi Park. It was so much freaking fun. It was just a ton of fun. We were dancing and watching a costume contest, just having a really great time. And the food was amazing. It was seriously one of the best Halloweens ever. I absolutely loved it. Then on actual Halloween day, we went to Universal Studios and I went to Wizarding World, and I know people are probably watching thinking, okay, she's a TERF, but I will address that in a few minutes. So I went to Wizarding World, and the four of us, we had an amazing time. And Halloween night at Universal was really cool. We attended Halloween Horror Nights. We attended 2 haunted houses. We did the Icon Monsters, or whatever it's called, and we did the Bride of Frankenstein haunted house. I will say, as someone who gets scared very easily, I don't watch scary shows while living home alone, shows that have a lot of jump scares, because I get scared so easily, and then I, have a hard time sleeping. I'm very prone to nightmares. So I don't watch I don't watch scary television or movies since I live alone. If I had a partner, then I'd probably watch more of them, because I've heard some stuff like The Haunting of Hill House is really good, but since I live alone, I don't watch it. So I thought I would be really scared at these haunted houses, but I was not. So I think it's just too crowded for anyone to be scared. You have people in front of you and people behind you with very little space between. So you know what's coming. You see the reaction of the people in front of you. You see the people in front of you laughing because they're not scared. And I think it's just cumulative. Everyone is kind of just laughing at the people in front of them because they know that they're not scared. And it's just, it's this chain of people who are not getting scared because we're all too close to each other. If you had to go through the haunted house alone, I think it would be different. I think if I had to go through those haunted houses alone, I would have been scared out of my mind. But I had my sister, we had our arms locked because she knows I'm very scared while watching TV. And I jumped 2 or 3 times between the 2 houses that we did. So that was kind of a letdown. I feel for the amount we paid, for the amount of time we spent in line, I did not get scared. And I actually wanted to get scared. I mean, that's what I paid for. I paid to get scared, and I didn't get scared. But the sets and everything were cool. The different scare sections they had set up throughout the park were really cool. The music, the effects, all of that stuff was super cool. Then the next day we went to, November 1st, we went to Disney's Hollywood Studios, and, it's actually, a person who watches my videos and supports my content on Twitter, who works at Disney, was able to get me a complimentary ticket. So thank you so much. It was really amazing to be able to go there. I've been really tight on money, so I truly appreciated the complimentary ticket. It was really awesome. We did the Star Wars rides, all of the Star Wars rides. We did the new one twice, Rise of the Resistance, which was amazing. Absolutely loved it. I think, the Star Wars rides were my favorite. I liked the Toy Story ones. We did one of the kiddie rides for Toy Story. I think we were the only people in line who didn't have kids with us. It was one of those whirling kind of saucer things, whatever. We did a couple coasters. We did that one music coaster that's indoors and even goes upside down. I'm typically someone who cannot handle really scary coasters, and especially stuff that goes upside down. Fun fact, I was actually on a ride one time and they actually stopped the ride because I was screaming so badly. It wasn't a coaster, it was just a ride that just like where your little thing goes upside down while the thing is going around on this Ferris wheel and your own like little carriage thingy, whatever, goes upside down repeatedly. I screamed my head off on that ride that they stopped the ride to let me get off because I kept on telling them to stop it to let me get off. Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed about that, but that was a long time ago. I was in high school. Okay. So we went on a coaster that went upside down, but it was super fast. And the upside down part like lasted like a second, didn't even realize really. So that was fine. It was just very jerky. Like my neck did not handle that too well. I really liked the Toy Story coaster, the Slinky Dog coaster. That was a lot of fun. Oh, at the Universal Park, I really liked, Hagrid's motorbike ride. That was a lot of fun. I was actually in the front on the bike. Like I didn't realize until the ride was about to start, like, wait a second, I'm in the actual front. Like usually I like being somewhere in the center because that, alleviates my fear a little bit, but being in the front was very scary, but super fun. I really enjoyed it. What else? Yeah, gosh, we did so many rides. It's hard to remember all of them. The Tower of Terror we did in the evening, so I got to go up and see the castle. Like you could see everything from up there. I could see like even in the other park the castle all lit up from the Tower of Terror ride, so that was really cool. I really liked that. What else? Oh gosh. Okay, one thing I will give you guys a tip. If you go to Universal Studios and you go to Wizarding World, you have to get the ice cream. So I saw a sign for Fortescue's ice cream at Wizarding World that they had Earl Grey and lavender ice cream. Anyone who knows me knows how obsessed I am with lavender. I'm obsessed with the flavor. I love lavender flavored stuff. I'm obsessed with the color and the scent. Like lavender, I'm seriously obsessed with lavender. So as soon as I saw that, I had to go and get the ice cream. So I got the lavender flavor, Earl Grey lavender flavor, as well as the sticky toffee pudding flavor. Oh my God, the ice cream was so good. It was so freaking good. However, then the next day when we were at Disney, I was still on this high from this ice cream from the day before. And so we stopped somewhere to get ice cream at Disney. Basic flavors, vanilla, chocolate, whatever. Basic sundaes, just you can get ice cream with like some hot fudge and whatever. Oh my God, it like cost the same as the ice cream at the Harry Potter park, and it was terrible. Like it was just so freaking bad. You can get better ice cream from Ben & Jerry's or like some other local brands. Like seriously, do not waste your money on the ice cream at Disney World. I was super disappointed and I was just so angry that I paid like $6 for this really, really crappy ice cream. Like I could have gotten like 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. So yeah, very disappointing. Theme park food is overpriced. Do not get the ice cream at Disney World. If you go to Wizarding World, definitely get the ice cream from Fortescue's ice cream parlor. As far as being at Wizarding World, so, one of the concerns I had, of course, was the last time I was at Wizarding World, that's when everything started with me, with people bullying me and all of that. The precautions when I went in January were through the roof. I felt completely safe. There was social distancing, there was sanitization, we were wearing masks, we only took off our masks. In fact, I had even taken a picture of the stairs where I had taken that photo that started it all to show people how I was sitting so far up. I didn't post it, but I was sitting far up on the stairs when we took off our mask when we were drinking butterbeer to take that photo originally. And so as I was walking by that same staircase, I just snapped a picture of it, and I was just like thinking to myself, like, God, such idiots. Like I was so far away from anyone else, and I wore my mask the entire time except for when I took it off for that picture. And again, this time I felt safe as well. People were wearing masks indoors and stuff like that, and I'm fully vaccinated. So it was a concern of mine that people would give me a hard time. I had seen that the person who started all of the bullying against me, like a few weeks prior to me going to on my vacation, had yet again made a comment about how people, who went to theme parks during the pandemic are horrible or something like that, and like we're spreading COVID. Like I never had COVID. I couldn't spread COVID because I've never had COVID. But someone was still apparently upset about it, almost a year later. So I was concerned going that, I might get bullied or harassed for having gone, especially for having gone to Wizarding World. So I was fully prepared to like respond to people's crap if they were going to give me any crap about it, because I'm just going to say, I'm not going to name names, but you know, I've seen other people in the industry who have attended theme parks and who have not gotten any shit for it. So if anyone does at any point want to give me shit for having gone to a theme park again, I am armed with pictures of your buddies at theme parks who did not get any shit whatsoever. So if you want to come at me, I've got those pictures ready to go. So yeah, those are waiting. And if someone wants to call me a TERF, I, have screenshots of people who are white, who have played Harry Potter board games, have purchased those Harry Potter board games, have made content for those Harry Potter board games. The people who call me TERF are supporting these people, have never once called them a TERF. So again, fully armed. So, again, I think that, goes back to people's Islamophobia, that Islam is in people's minds associated with transphobia and homophobia. So of course it's very easy to call the Muslim female content creator a TERF, but not all these white non-Muslim people a TERF for still liking Harry Potter. And also I have two close friends. So two of my closest friends in the board gaming world have children who are trans. Both of them do. So one is a male friend and one is a female friend, and they both have trans kids. So I had a very, open, honest discussion with them. So these are people who I can be really honest with and ask very open and honest questions to. And I ask them how they feel about me, liking Harry Potter and going to Wizarding World. And they have no problem with it. They know that J.K. Rowling's views are, problematic, and they of course have an issue with J.K. Rowling, but we had a very open and honest discussion about separating the art from the artist, about J.K. Rowling's financial status, what it would mean to go to Wizarding World where she's already gotten all of the royalties from having created this place. We discussed everything at length, and they still love Harry Potter. Like, both of these people love Harry Potter, and their kids are trans, and they fully support their trans kids. If two of my closest friends, the people who actually matter to me, have trans children and they don't have a problem with me going to Wizarding World, then honestly, I don't care if anyone else does at this point. I know I'm not a TERF. I know I support trans rights. I've helped trans people to legally change their names, which was voluntary. So again, if people want to give me a hard time for going to Wizarding World, then, so be it. Like, I can say the same thing about other people who I feel, supported publishers who are clearly anti-Palestinian. Like, going back to that, so I could at the same time say, well, you guys are then anti-Palestinian because you continue to support a publisher who is clearly anti-Palestinian. So, we can all play this game, but I don't want to. So I don't want to play that game, but I was ready to respond to any comments had I received them, but luckily I did not. So luckily my trip was not ruined this time, and I was able to have a really good time at Wizarding World with my friend Grecia and her husband, and I absolutely love them, and I miss them so much already, and I am hopefully, looking forward to hopefully going on more trips with them in the future. Ironically, we became friends through content creation and board games, but we did not play a single board game on this trip together, but someday we will get together and play a board game. So again, I'll leave her channel in the comment section below. I know she's on a bit of a hiatus from creating content though, because, work and life gets very busy, but maybe someday she'll come back and create more content. So yeah, so that is it. So this video has gone on for longer than an hour, and I guess that's it. So if you can answer all the questions I post to you throughout the video, that would be great. Helping me to decide what to back, what not to back, what to call, what not to call. That would be amazing. If you have any other, any other questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And until next time, bye. I touched the bottom of its neck.
Aww.
Down to the stands. My house never stopped talking about Cotter's Quidditch skills. I'd really rather see for myself.